Today I'm talking about a siding system that gives people a little pause when they are looking at homes in the Pacific Northwest, and it has come up for me enough that I decided that I'm just going to do a video on it and address it, and hopefully this gives you something to think about if you're looking at a house that has this stucco looking exterior. So this siding system is called EIFS. I'll talk more about what that stands for. But it's very common in drier climates like California, New Mexico, Arizona. If you're from one of those areas, you might be used to seeing stucco everywhere and it doesn't make you stop and ponder anything. But if you are looking for a home in the Pacific Northwest, you need to be like a little bit more vigilant and on your guard regarding water intrusion. We all know how wet it is up here, and what you definitely do not want to have happen is for water to be making its way behind the siding system of your home and causing problems that you can't see behind the walls. Thank you for watching. I make a new video on life and real estate here in Southwest Washington every week. I was raised in Camas. I have spent most of my life in Clark County, and I have been selling homes in this area for 10 years. Yes, I am a realtor, and I want to help you with your relocation. I have been lucky enough to help many people that I have met through my channel as they are making their move to the Pacific Northwest. So do not be shy. If you want to talk about your big move or what you're looking for in your next house, just reach out. My phone number and my email address are in the description down below. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Call me anytime. Also, like I said before, I'm making a new video once a week, so make sure you subscribe and turn the bell on for notifications so that you don't miss a video. Okay, back to this very exciting topic at hand. EIFS siding. It looks like stucco, but it is not stucco. The name is an acronym that stands for Exterior Insulation and Finish System. It is a wall cladding that came about in the 1960s. The main idea behind why it was introduced was to add insulation to the exterior of a building, and then you finish the siding system with a thin mesh and then a cementous finish, which gives it that like stucco looking look. EIFS became popular on higher end homes in the American market in the 80s. The first iterations of this product were installed over the wood frame of a home and did not include drainage planes behind the EIFS system. So you have to be more aware, like if this siding system is like in the 80s, 90s, there was probably not drainage behind it. And that results in many failures of these systems, and homes became damaged due to rot, mold, and pest damage. And there are multiple manufacturers, installation methods, and types of EIFS. However, they have all had failures and resulting damage due to, like, usually from incorrect installation, like that lets water penetrate into the wall system, get behind it, and then you know what it does when it's behind the siding. So if you buy a home that has this siding system, if you're interested in a home that has this siding system, how long is it gonna last? It's hard to say what the lifespan is because it wasn't really made for a rainy environment. So the manufacturer recommendation is going to be off. In dry climates, it could last 25, 30 years. In the Pacific Northwest, probably like more like 20 is my guess, but I'm just guessing. I'm not just guessing. I did talk to an inspector and asked him what he thought about that one, but it's probably a little bit different for every house and how it was installed and all of those details. How is EIFS installed? Whereas stucco only has one coat, EIFS has 2 or 3 coats. There's a polystyrene substrate gets applied over the plywood sheathing of the home, and usually that plywood sheathing has like a moisture barrier, like a house wrap. Then over that foam there is mesh and a decorative coat. The waterproofing is not the exterior coat of the house. That's the stucco-like material. The waterproofing is behind the stucco-like material. It was explained to me as being similar to a brick veneer product. The brick has an inch gap between like the brick itself and the waterproofing, and that air gap or waterproofing behind the EIFS allows the water to like shed down the side of the house, and then there's like a drainage system at the bottom to get the water out. If it is installed correctly, you might have no problems with it ever. Sometimes there would be cracks appearing in the wall cladding. It's a cement material that's going to expand and contract as the temperature of the home fluctuates. If you're buying a house with this siding, it's really like get it inspected. It's probably not going to just be any home inspector. Any home inspector can visually inspect EIFS siding, but most of them don't have the right moisture meter and probes to like go deeper behind the siding. Inspectors do not like EIFS for many reasons, but one of them is that it's really hard to inspect. Inspectors, they cannot see behind the surface, obviously. Some inspectors have these fancy probes that they can scan behind the surface to look for water intrusion. They are going to look for cracks in the material, and a good inspector is going to look at the EIFS system, the windows, and the flashing, and then they're going to give you a full report of the system and any deficiencies that they have noted. Some of these deficiencies may include failed sealant, cracking, clearance issues, improper installation of the siding itself, missing flashing, etc. They will also look at windows, any penetrations through the siding system, such as like a water spout or some venting, and any place where it is too close to the ground. An inspector can do a visual inspection of EIFS in any weather, as it is not dependent on dry conditions for accurate results. But once your inspector has done a visual inspection of the EIFS siding system, they would then, if they have the right tools, you need to make sure you're hiring the right guy or girl, I guess, they can use a moisture meter specifically designed for these inspections to search for elevated moisture levels below the siding surface. And areas that have elevated moisture are marked for follow-up with moisture probing, and that moisture meter pins are inserted through the EIFS to the wall sheathing behind the foam insulation. For a visual inspection of the siding, it does not need to be dry out, but for the moisture meter portion, it really does need to be dry for at least 24 hours in order to be accurate. So what happens if the testing comes back with elevated levels of moisture behind the siding? So if they do that moisture meter and they find areas that are like, we're worried about right here that there's water behind the system, then the inspector will insert probes through the EIFS surface and insulation back to the wall sheathing to check the moisture levels of the sheathing. The inspector can actually also test the firmness level of the sheathing itself. Firmness level of the sheathing to gather some insight as to whether there's any rot or decay back there. So once the inspection is done, those little holes are sealed with silicone and they're going to match that to the exterior color of the home to prevent like water then also going through that small hole into behind the siding. So pretty much any inspector can visually inspect a siding system like this during a typical home inspection. They would probably charge you an extra $150 is my best, most accurate guess on that one. I got a bid from one inspector just visually. He said $150 to do it. If you are gonna have an EIFS specific inspection, including the moisture meter and including the probes, that's gonna be more. So at least $1,000 or more. We got a couple of different estimates on this. One of them was like $1,200, another was as high as $1,800, it just depends on the house. They're gonna count the number of windows, they're gonna count the eaves. Other home inspectors will charge more. It just depends on who you talk to and what they're gonna do. So just let me know if you have questions on this. I can connect you to these inspectors who are experts at what they do. And then just know also, if you're buying a home that has this siding system, it's likely that at some point you're gonna want to replace it. Are you gonna have to replace it? Not necessarily. If it's functioning well, then you might have no problems ever. But all in all, like, this siding system is not great in the Northwest. And siding systems typically last 20 to 30 years. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you're looking at any house that was built 20 or 30 years ago, it is likely that if you're going to be in that house for 5 to 10 years, you will probably be the homeowner who resides that house. Through maintenance, you can always elongate the life of a siding system, but all of these systems, like your furnace, your roof, your siding, at some point they need to get replaced. So just as you're shopping for homes, if you're looking at homes that are not brand new, be aware of these costs when you're going through the inspection process. I have done videos on inspections before, and I'm going to link that above right here. And also, if you want to chat about any of this, just give me a call. If you want to set up a home search, give me a call. I'm happy to help you. I've been selling homes for 10 years in the Northwest, and I can help you kind of get in front of what you're going to be looking for in a home so that you don't end up buying a house that has a major problem. All right, that's it for today. Thank you.